I'm in the thick of it with my team, and you could cut the tension with a knife. We were trying to make a decision about customers. On one hand, there was the small customer advocates, and on the other, the big client champions. And both camps were really digging their heels in, pushing their own agendas, and I had irritated faces all around me. And this was my own business. So what's the climax of this particular showdown, and why are we talking about it in a people-pleasing video? We'll get onto that soon. Have you ever suspected that ADHD might nudge you towards being a people-pleaser, and that this very trait could actually be a key struggle for you in the entrepreneurial world? So why is that happening, and what's going on, and how do you fix this particular script? I'm Phil Drinkwater, and I'm on a mission to guide ADHD entrepreneurs like me towards the light. People pleasing, I've really been there, I've done that, I've got that t-shirt. So why is it such a thorn in our sides? Let's dive into 5 ways it tends to mess with us and see whether any of this resonates with you. First up, a sales conundrum. People pleasers were like the selling underdogs. We create our own win-lose game where we're on the losing side, where selling's supposed to be win-win, or at least that we're not losing. From our own corner, we're prone to underselling ourselves, tossing in too many freebies, and then scratching our heads and wondering why our profit margins are in the red and business just isn't growing. Second, there's decision making, or should I say the lack of it. Trying to be everyone's best friend means that you're pulled in a million different directions, and then you're stuck because you just can't please everyone. Or worse, you're just so out of touch with what you want that you don't know how to make decisions in your own best interests. Third, overcommitment, a classic. Bending over backwards to please customers actually leads to missed deadlines and more disgruntled clients. The dreaded burnout finds its way into our lives as well, and let's not forget that ADHD sprinkles its own brand of extra petrol onto the fire with a dash of time blindness and a pinch of planning challenges. 4. Shying away from giving feedback to employees or parting ways with them is another slippery slope for us. Focusing on keeping the peace means that problems in your business and with employees tend to fester, and then you become resentful and you're left kicking yourself for not dealing with it any sooner. And 5, don't get me started with your vision for your business. You'll start to water it down to meet the feedback you get from everyone else or the latest YouTube video, until all that's left is a dull, colourless blot on the floor. None of these roads lead to success, and people pleasing is really at the heart of this. So how does ADHD make it more likely we'll be people pleasers? Well, we have heightened emotions and rejection sensitive dysphoria, and a history of stumbling that leads us second guessing ourselves, convinced that we're really the problem. And it's a recipe for people pleasing feast. We end up with massive discomfort, and we're just not sure that the world really approves of who we are and what we do. So it's a good time to cycle back to my dilemma. Smaller customers felt like it was the right fit for me, but I was left feeling like I was facing off against a particular powerhouse in the opposite camp, and I really kind of wanted to melt away under the floorboards, but it was my company. And this is one of the challenges with people pleasing. It's a killer for leadership. The room's eyes were really on me, and what did I do? Did I follow my gut, or did I cave into the pressure? And how would this big personality take it if I didn't go with their path? I'll get onto it soon. Here's some good news for you though. People pleasing is a habit you can break. At its core, it's about confidence or a lack of. Remember that phrase about putting people on a pedestal? Well, it's what we're doing all the time, making their needs, their opinions, and their thoughts the be-all and end-all in our lives. Deep down, it's maddening and frustrating. Why do we bow down to this? That's when the anger starts to silently bubble inside ourselves. But it's actually not at them, it's really at ourselves for not being our own champion. And from this place of frustration, where we're spending so much time thinking about our anger and what we should have done instead, success becomes really difficult because we drain our own energy and we make poorer decisions. So time for a game plan. Let's fix some of this. Step number 1. If you're feeling your people pleasing coming on, excuse yourself from the heat of the moment and give yourself some space to weigh up the passive, assertive and aggressive options that you have right now. Aim for the assertive, but watch out because our distorted lenses tend to skew our perception of what assertiveness really looks like. Step 2. Set yourself up with some people-pleasing challenges. Start with something small and then ramp it up. Maybe you could stall on purpose at the lights and accept the annoyed faces behind you in a safe environment. It's all about pushing your comfort zone a bit at a time. And step 3, recognize that aggression from other people is actually just a tactic they've learned, a play to get you to back down. But you're not gonna do that anymore, right? While you're doing this, ponder on these 3 coaching questions. First, what's your people-pleasing really protecting you from? Second, what's the cost of your people-pleasing to you? And is it worth that price? And third, if you hadn't played the people-pleasing card this last month, how would it have turned out for you? What would have been different? And let's finish up now with my standoff. What happened? Well, I did back myself, and it turned out that the big personality was actually really just assertive more than aggressive, and they respected my call and they just wanted a leader and not a pushover. I wasn't expecting this particular plot twist, but it was a really good wake-up call. I'd been mistaking assertiveness for aggression for a long time. It was this lens that was really distorted within me. It's a big lesson that I learned. Boundaries are another really important part of people pleasing, and especially for ADHD people. But let's leave that for another video. For now, just let's start taking some of those baby steps away from passivity and towards assertiveness. Drop a comment below and rate your own people-pleasing tendencies out of 10 and where you're aiming to be in 3 months' time. And let's rally round together as a tribe. I'll catch you in the next video.